So how you guys doing this morning? So I guess we have our answer to the Fed in the executive branch, and we got that yesterday from a speech that Powell gave, and that was basically where he indicated that you know what we might be closer to neutral than he had thought or they had thought before. I think that speech really sort of highlighted a couple of things. And then there's an extra wrinkle in there of something that not many people are talking about, but we need to be aware of, right? Because again, we're talking about investing in real estate here, and we need to be paying attention to things that could affect the interest rates. So, first and foremost, I think it's a done. I think it's done that the Fed is going to raise in December, right? Powell indicated in his speech that we're almost at neutral. It's very clear he wants to get to neutral. I think also he needs to show that he's serious and he's not pandering to the executive branch. He's not begging for a job. He's not dealing with the threats that he's getting and all the chatter about his job and all of that. So I think he has to raise in December. I think that's priced in, so I don't think it's a big shock. I think, frankly, the shock would be if he didn't raise in December. It would cause people to look at the situation and go, "Oh my God, is it worse than we thought?" So I think it goes up in December. Then I don't think there's any more raising it until at least the half of next year, so June, July, that kind of time frame. I think they're going to sit back and see what happens. I think the GM closure of whatever it was, 15,000 jobs, kind of caught them off surprise. Cars are obviously a very sensitive and discretionary, spend in many cases. So I think maybe there was some pain there. I think there's some risk that we talked about the other day in the corporate bond market. It's very rate sensitive. So I think those are what's happening in that area. The other one that's obviously going on, we talked about yesterday, is trade, specifically with China. So I think that's still going to be working itself out to have good days, bad days, and the like. But there is one thing that we just need to recognize, that the Fed still has to basically reduce its balance sheet, right? One thing they did to help with the liquidity during the crisis is they were the buyer of last resort. So they bought a lot of bonds that were produced. And now I think I read somewhere where they're going to be selling off portions of their balance sheet, which has swelled. I think they're selling a couple of $100 billion. Why is that important to you? Well, think about them being sellers, right? So they're going to sell bonds into the market, right, into the open market, where funds and countries and whoever the buyers are, right, big shots, are going to be deploying capital, that's going to absorb capital that could be used for something else. I heard one analyst talk about just that action of absorbing capital that could be used for other things is going to act like as an increase, right? It's going to make it more expensive. So there's lots of things that the Fed could do to adjust interest rates other than just adjusting the federal funds rate. So in the end, I think it's pretty interesting that Powell and the Fed blinked. I talked about it yesterday morning, I believe, sort of like, are they or aren't they? Well, by 11 or 12 o'clock, they clearly blinked. So we have that answer. Now I think there's some review of trade. And then again, there's something we can't forget. Right? It doesn't get talked about by CNBC or the others, but there's still the balance sheet that the Fed needs to get rid of over time. Right? It's not going to happen in a day or a week or a month or even a year. It'll take years to get done, but it will absorb capital from the market, thus raising interest rates. All right. Have a great day, guys.